All right, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the Calling a Man's Answer Show, episode 92. Without further ado, Logan, introduce yourself, who you are, what you do, and everything like that, man.
Yeah, Logan Lisle. I am the host of a show called Doc Talk, where I basically tell a lot of dad jokes, mainly. I live out here in San Diego, but I do a lot of my Doc Talks in Lake Tahoe, California, a little bit up north. Been doing it for about 3 years now. Yeah, we do dad jokes, shower thoughts, fun facts, whatever. But 90% of the time, it's just dad jokes where the people love that kind of humor. So that's kind of where my life has navigated to. So yeah, I live out here in San Diego for the last year. I graduated from Bethel University. It's out in Minnesota, small little Division III school. I played football there, studied filmmaking, played some baseball, and moved back to California, which is where I'm originally from. My main job is I'm a wedding videographer. So Doc Talk's kind of on the side for me, but I have a lot of fun doing both. So I'm just trying to transition from doing wedding videos to full-time social media, but it just takes a little bit of time. It's not going to happen overnight. So it's kind of where I'm at in my journey. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, man. That's cool that you say you went to a small Division III school to play football, because I actually go to a small Division III school in Portland, Oregon, or right outside of Portland, called Pacific
Okay.
University, and I play football up here. Or I'm about to
Nice.
graduate. I'm about to graduate this spring, so I'm done playing football. But yeah, that's cool that I haven't actually met anyone doing this who I've brought on to talk about other things who actually
Yeah.
also played Division III football. And
Yeah.
one thing about that, I just to digress a little bit from Doc Talks, we'll get into that, but a lot of people don't realize that Division III schools are filled with a lot of guys who have talent. There's a lot of guys there who actually can play. They're just a lot of
Right.
times undersized, or maybe they're injury prone, or maybe they just didn't get enough. They went to a smaller school for high school, so they didn't get the looks as like the bigger guys. But like a lot of people like to just I feel like when you're in high school, or even some people who are out of high school, they like to shit on D3, or when you say
Right.
that, they kind of look down on you. But it's dude, you don't realize a lot of these, this is real college football. It really is. It's
Yeah.
tough. These guys can play. And so I feel like for a lot of high schoolers, especially, if you're getting looked at, you're not really getting looked at big, but you're getting looked at by some smaller Division II, Division III, NAIA. I would say take visits, and if you like where those cities are, I would strongly say you should think about playing, because I think it was one of the best experiences I've had.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. People will come out of high school and they're like, man, I'm not going D1. I'm going to give this up. So I thought of it as an opportunity to play anywhere. So I had a blast doing it. I made great friendships through the way. So, I mean, I wouldn't trade it for the world. The whole process of getting recruited by a smaller school and going out of state, I thought it was a blast. So, like you said, there's a lot of talent there. I even see some D3 guys go, whether it's a practice squad for the NFL, or even there's some stories of, Division III players making it to the NFL. There's the Saints punt returner. I think he's like a receiver now. I don't know if he's still in the Saints, but he played at Appalachian or some school in Boston or something. But I mean, there's still opportunity for D3 players to make it, because like you said, there's still talent there.
Yeah, definitely. And I think one of the Denver Broncos starting guards is from Whitewater, UW
Oh,
Whitewater.
really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
he's a fucking stud. And then
yeah.
also a buddy of mine plays at Dubuque. I don't know if you know that school.
Yep, yep.
And he's the kicker, but a guy from there, a corner, a couple of years ago, got drafted. I don't know if he's still on a team or if he's on the practice squad, but he definitely got drafted. It's crazy though, because people, there's less people who are from Division IIIs who make it, but it's also there's kids who play overseas. People don't realize that football is not just the NFL. Obviously everyone knows about the CFL in Canada, but there's also
Yeah,
German leagues, Czechoslovakian leagues. If you want
yeah.
to keep playing football, you can. I'm done, because I'm a specialist. I'm a punter, but
Yeah, yeah.
I tore both my labrums and my hips.
Oh,
And
wow.
so I just played through that through my years, but I was like, dude, I can't do it anymore. And
Yeah.
like it's too much like strain. But like, there's a lot of guys, like one of my close buds, he's he's actually our quarterback, but he's graduating too. But him and one of the receivers who are graduating this year, they're not kind of done, but they don't know what they're gonna do. But like arena or something, they deserve to keep playing because they're dogs. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep. I agree.
Yeah, man. So let's talk about your show for a little bit. I think it's
Yep.
awesome how you guys do those dad jokes too,
Yeah.
because like such a nichey thing, and it's like people can connect to it easy. And I was talking about this with a movie critic yesterday. We're seeing this transformation from long form content to almost like really small snippets,
Yep.
and then people, if they want to watch the long form content, they can take the
Yep.
the links you have in the small form content to the long form. And I think for you guys doing that, having a show and then you posting these little dad jokes on TikTok, I don't know if you do on YouTube Shorts or anything like that,
Not
but
yet.
it's definitely an avenue that people want it. People really really want it, and I'm sure you've seen that.
Yeah. Yeah. No. So, what the funny thing about social media platforms is like you have Facebook, and the demographic there is kind of, in my opinion, it's older people looking for longer videos, whether it's a tour around Disneyland. It's the same with YouTube. I mean, if you're on YouTube, you're looking for longer videos. If you're looking for a travel tour of Thailand or whatever, you're there for 10 minutes, 15 minutes watching this whole video. If you're on TikTok, you're short, your attention span's short. You're looking for the viral videos, jokes, whatever, dogs, whatever you want to look for. Um, and those social media platforms are good at, figuring out the algorithm as far as what you like. So if you're spending a lot of time on these dogs, these viral videos of cats and dogs, they're going to keep showing you those videos. So TikTok, you're swiping up and, keep going through. Same with Instagram. Instagram is trying to compete with TikTok as far as the reels and the TikTok videos. Instagram is moving away from pictures, because now people want to watch these little videos, right? So they're coming out with these bonus reels, incentives for people to post on reels. So it's a little competition in itself with Instagram and TikTok, but people just want to watch, short little videos on Instagram and TikTok. So if you can find a niche and keep your videos short, they don't always have to be short. As long as they're providing value in some kind of way, whether it's fitness or, learning how to do a podcast, or if you something that will, teach somebody or provide, something that they're looking for, then your content will always, be valuable in that way. But for me, keeping the video short and kind of funny and, just dad jokes, people know that they're in it for dad jokes. If you're all over the place with doing a dad joke and, posting something fitness, people will be like, I don't know what I'm following. So when you stick to one thing on, a certain platform and stick with that, you'll have much more of a chance to be successful in that, field, I guess. So, just utilizing each platform to, what it's designed for is kind of the key. So, yeah, I mean, YouTube's coming out with shorts. So, I can post those on the YouTube shorts, but if I want to do a tour of my van and what I do traveling, I'll post a long video. So it's kind of just figuring out, your audience for one, and sticking with that same algorithm. And, it's kind of the key. So,
No, yeah, definitely. And so like for me, like I was posting long form, just like my whole podcast, and then I would do like, I would do like the clips of us like for like 10 minutes or 5 to 10 minutes of like a cool conversation that I had during the podcast.
yeah,
And I felt like a lot of the conversations, because I've talked to like a bunch of people, like just all different types of people, and I got to talk to like scientists and virologists, people who like during the COVID vaccine time, like me and this virologist who I know now I know through the podcast, we were like, I was kind of like really like having an interview with him, like kind of grilling him, asking him like about questions, like is it safe, things like that. And so I was feeling like that stuff wasn't getting enough traction because it's actually important, like content. Like I feel like people deserve
yeah,
the conversations that I get to have. And I started posting YouTube shorts, and the algorithm, dude, those YouTube shorts, they get thousands of views every time. And so what I started doing is I started posting little snippets of my conversations. And then if they want to watch the full clip or the full episode, I tag, say, subscribe, and, and then the people who want to watch that long form content, that will grow. And so 100%, if you're a creator, if anyone's a creator, you got to find your niche, and then, but you got to like tease. If you want to make long form content, you got to make short form teases in order for you to find those people who will be your fans.
Exactly. I like the analogy of like emails. So if you get an email and it's all one long paragraph, the chances of you reading that all right there is just, for me at least, it's tough. But if you break it out into sentences and space it out, for some reason I like reading it that way, and I'll finish it. I could easily, post one long reel of 20 different dad jokes. The chances of someone watching through it all is very low. They want to read the joke and move on. They'll read them, or they'll watch them some other time eventually. You know what I mean? So posting, one or two jokes at a time for their attention span is, you're more likely to get views and traction and shares and stuff like that, as opposed to, putting the whole thing at once. So for you, like putting, something valuable with a scientist or something about COVID, 20 seconds of great advice is like, oh wow, like that's good to know. I don't need to watch the whole thing right now, but I like to know what he has to say right there.
Mm-hmm. The crazy thing though that I've found about YouTube with talking about COVID, like regardless of if you're like for vaccines, against vaccines, I think there's a block. There's an algorithm block, because every single time I'll post a short, it will get thousands. It'll get a 1,000+ views. I post a vaccine one, it gets like 7 in like a day and a half. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense, because I have more than 7 people who subscribe to me. And so I had one TikTok, except I had one TikTok where he was talking about the vaccines when they first came out. And so this was when they first came out, and that kind of it had more comments than likes, which was crazy because people were just going at it, in the comments. Just talking shit. But I think YouTube, because we're living at such a weird time, that I think YouTube, and I don't know about the other social media because I haven't really tried to post like COVID content on there, but I think the algorithm specifically, maybe not the actual people who work there, but the algorithm is coded in such a way that they want to censor out disinformation, and COVID's just so broad that if you bring up the word vaccine, they're just like, nope, I'm not even going to deal with it. You know what I mean?
Yes, exactly. No, that's what sucks about, because I used to, just 3 months ago, I had 15,000 followers. It wasn't much relatively now, but, I'd post something political and my views would just stay down. So I got to a point where I'm like, you're obviously not going to please everyone with your views. You're just going to, create controversy every time. So I'm like, I'm just going to avenue my way, just humor, whether if someone likes it or not, it's just created such a division, because you're not going to convince someone, left to right or right to left. So it's just like straight one thing, and stick with it, and just try to stay away from that kind of stuff, because now social media, it's like you post anything vaccine or left, right, it's just like they shut you down.
Yeah. And also, like, I was talking to the filmmaker or movie critic yesterday, or I posted it yesterday, but I was talking to him a couple of days ago, and we were talking about, he's like, I could never do the show you do, because my show is like kind of organized around bringing people on and just having like conversation, just about what people believe, what people don't believe, things like that, like just talking. He's like, I could never do what you do. And I was like, the only thing, I love having these conversations because it makes me think, and it makes me like reevaluate a lot of positions I have. However, if I read some of these shorts or reels I post, if I read the comment sections, I can get a little disavowed, sometimes these, like, the people who comment a lot of the times are the negative people, just people who want to just talk shit. And so I found like, it's just so hard to not read some of them, because they just pop up and you're just like, fuck, I want to read them. And then you read, you're like, I shouldn't have done that. Should not have done that.
Yeah. You get down this rabbit hole, and then it's just like, I used to post a lot of political views on Facebook, and it was just that, because once you start going, people will comment back, and then you're like fueled to prove their point, like your point on the next article, or you just keep going. So been trying to veer away from that, because then it's just bad news.
Yeah. How did you get into, or how did you find that dad joke niche? Did it come over time, or did you just try it and it worked? How did you find that niche specifically?
Well, it's kind of the views, likes, and comments kind of tell you where to go with it, you know. So I would post videos on like shower thoughts, and like it would get 100,000 views, which is like still pretty good. But then I posted a dad joke, and it's got almost 11 million views. So I'm like, all right, so people like those. Keep posting those, and then every time I post, now it's like, okay, what's today's dad joke, So I try to mix it up, but then people are just, they'll swipe and keep looking for the dad jokes. Like they don't care about shower thoughts, they don't care about a fun fact, or because I used to do all kinds of things, but now it's just um, dad jokes because when I post something, I try to make it shareable, right? So if it's something relatable and funny and something that could be going on in their life, um, then I'll post it. It's because the more shares you get, the more engagement's going to happen. So if I post something that's only going to hit a couple of people, it's not going to do well. What I think is funny might not be funny to everybody else. So if you stick to something that's kind of universal and that everyone will kind of laugh at, or could use a joke at the dinner table, then that's something that I'll try to post.
Yeah, I always wonder for like comedians respectively, like how do they figure out what bits to post, you know?
Yeah, no, 100%. Like there's a comedian today, I forgot his name, but he has no filter. Like there's nothing's off the table with him. And I think, that's why he might do so well, is because people like how unfiltered he is. He's not, one-sided on something or like clean. He just lets it go, and people have to accept that they are going to be in it for that, or they just say
Yeah.
next.
Definitely, yeah. And I think that's why a lot of people start podcasts just to talk with their friends, or a lot of people do sports shows specifically. And
Yeah,
that's, I mean, people always want to digest sports content and controversial takes about sports, LeBron, things like
yeah,
that. But I think a lot of people wanted to start shows like or listen to shows where people like disagree and things like that, or talk between people, because of the whole like Joe Rogan effect, kind of like where you don't filter what you say in a conversation as much as you do with content you post, right? Like even
yeah,
comedians to some extent only post the bits that do well in person, right? Like you wouldn't post a bit that flopped unless you're posting a video about flopping or something like that, right? And so
yeah,
I think a lot of people post long form content because if you want to digest a conversation, a difficult concept conversation, like a conversation with a virologist or someone with a PhD, cancer biologist, you can digest that long form content. But if you don't, you can just watch the little short bits about a cool take or why marijuana doesn't affect cancer, or does. So
yeah.
I think we're at a time where for young people respectively, the attention span is so small, yet for a lot of people, they still want that ability to have the long form content. And so to have both, I think that's the avenue you need to be if you're a content creator.
Yep. Yeah, no, that's definitely true. And YouTube is something I haven't got into, and I'm trying to, but I like how YouTube is creating the shorts, because they're figuring out, people do love the short attention span. And then if you want the option to, keep reading on scientists or whatever, and you can click that link and watch the full video. So I think it's changing. I mean, there's so many social media platforms. I'm only using like, three, and there's a WhatsApp, or there's so many different things. There's there's this TikToker I've met in person. He's from Wisconsin. I don't know if you've ever heard of Jeremy from TikTok, or Jeremy Little. He does jokes with this little kid.
Oh, I think I've seen him a couple of times. Yeah.
Yeah, he always does jokes. He got like 11 million followers on TikTok, 200,000 on Instagram, 300,000 on Facebook, but he's using all kinds of apps. There's like Clapper, there's, I don't know, I don't even know what other ones, but he's getting paid from all these different avenues because people like, you know, are just on different apps. So I'm trying to expand to different just like YouTube. If you see my doc talks on Instagram, it's very vertical, right? The
Mm-hmm.
videos, they're reels. But if I post on YouTube, you know, I can go wide and show like the whole lake in the background and put a whole, you know, episode together that's like a minute long. So that's what I'm going to try to, you know, resort to here pretty soon. I just need to find the time.
Yeah, definitely. And so you said you're like your main job that you're trying to get away from is a wedding videographer.
Yep.
How did you get into that? Did that come right after school, the
Yeah.
YouTube job?
So I actually studied independent filmmaking in college, and I didn't learn jack diddly. I learned more on YouTube. I mean, I'm like $50,000 in debt with college. I mean, I wouldn't go back and say no. I'd do it all over again. Honestly, I don't care about the debt. I had college experience, played football and baseball. I had a great time. But when I got back into California, you know, I started working at a restaurant, and then my dad hired me for this vacation rental company in Tahoe. So I moved to Tahoe and started working there. And then I'm like, man, I still want to do something with, you know, videography. So someone suggested that I do weddings. There's a lot of money there, blah, blah, blah. I shot my sister's wedding for free. Um, and then someone saw that video and I did their video for like nothing, like maybe 200. Then the next one was like 500. It was like another friend and another friend. And then it just slowly built up. What I did was I got a business LLC, and then I went to Chase Bank, got a business credit card. It was like $9,000 limit. So I just bought all the equipment. I started doing weddings slowly for like $1,000, 1,500, and then I just pay it off. And then just snowball effect. Finally started. I was still working for this vacation rental company. I was doing the weddings on the side, and I got to a point where I was like, man, I should put full time into this and focus on my website, marketing, all that stuff. So once I actually quit, it was it was actually right during COVID, which is crazy. I mean, everything shut down. I got laid off for a bit. And I was like, you know, I'm done. I'm going to focus on weddings, which because weddings weren't happening. But what people were doing was that they were eloping. So I got like 10 elopements in Yosemite, um, you know, Tahoe, wherever. And then my website started taking off and I started getting more inquiries. And then for 2021, I had shot 52 weddings. And this year I'm gonna shoot like right now around 30. I'll probably max out around 40, but it's so hard to say no. The money's there, but we'll see how many I do. But yeah, I mean, that kind of industry is just it's just a slow start. I mean, you can just if you're new to it, you can just be like, you know, I'm quitting my job and gonna go shoot weddings. You know, it takes time. So a lot of these photographers and videographers, they're always doing it on the side at first until they get enough work where they're like, you know, maybe I can make this full time. So it's definitely a process, but it's been worth it, man. I have my own schedule. I can pick when I work, when I edit, and it's a blast. And now I'm starting to work with this travel company. So this could be something that could be full time. This travel company is paying for my trip to go to Patagonia, Alaska, wherever. They have itineraries for these different countries. They partnered with a bunch of different companies in different countries, um, and I make commission off who sells or who buys a trip to go with me. So it's usually like 8 to 20 people that will come with me to. So we're planning one in Thailand in January. Um, so if I can start doing these trips, I think I'm going to kind of veer away from weddings. Weddings are great, but it's you know it's minimalized my time to create as a content creator. I used to love videoing, just going on a road trip, but after doing so many weddings, I'm like, I just want to put the camera down and just enjoy my time. So if I can veer off from, you know, maybe 10 weddings a year, make some money from that and do other things, just different sources of income is going to help me a lot. I own an e-bike shop with my dad in Tahoe. That's a source of income. So it's just kind of the journey, you know, it's just doing different things and seeing what you're, you know, every year is different for me. I'm either doing a bunch of weddings or, you know, making money off TikTok videos.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. No, finish what you're
yeah,
gonna say.
no, that's it. That's it.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask you about that travel company. So, what respectively, like you said, you make commission off of the people you get to bring with you. Are you
Yep.
almost like, do you dictate what you guys do there? Can everyone like separate and do their own things? How does that kind of work? What is your like job respectively?
Yeah. So basically, I push this survey for people to fill out. Once I get 100 surveys filled out, then I qualify for a trip to be planned. So if only like 5 people sign this survey, it's gonna tell the travel company like, looks like your audience isn't interested. We're not gonna plan a trip. I luckily got about 200 surveys filled out. So um, based on the surveys, they take that data. Um, there's a bunch of questions, like where would you want to go? What would you want to do? So we take that data, and then based on that, they plan an itinerary. So day one, you're going to get there, you get into your hotel, we have a group dinner. Then day two for in Alaska, we're going to go dog sledding. We're going to hit the hot springs. We're going to see the northern lights, all kinds of, like, so basically everything's planned out, which is awesome because a lot of times I don't travel because I don't know how to plan it. I don't know
Mhm.
where I'm staying. I don't know what to do. This just makes it easy to book it and then just follow the itinerary. This is what you're gonna do. As far as free time, it's all like new to me. So one of my questions is gonna find out, are you gonna be able to venture off and do your own thing? I'm sure there's gonna be time for that. Just to lay by the beach, do your own thing. Because if you're going with a group of strangers, I mean, it's kind of intimidating. Because you have to spend time with these people. Whether you hop on a boat or go snorkeling, like this is your group for a week. Um, so it's gonna be interesting for the first trip. I'm excited to video. As far as money wise, I can pick my price on how much the trip will cost and how much I want to make from it. Um, if it's sold out, for example, like if I get 20 people to come with me, I can make anywhere from $14,000 to $16,000 on that. But if I make it where my margins are where I only make like 8 grand, it would be a relatively cheaper trip for them to pay. Um, so we'll see on the first trip. I don't know if I want to make a bunch of money. I just want to see how it goes. I want to genuinely have a good time, video it, document it, kind of advertise for the next trip. Let people know how fun of a trip it was. Um, and for me, I can offer a workshop, which means if people want to learn how to video, they have the option to do that. It might cost a little more because we might spend a full day. I can teach them how to do a doc, what equipment I use, how I set it up. So they can get the basis for how I set it up, and then they can go do what they want with it. So, yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a mixture of being with a group and stick to the itinerary, and hopefully, a mix of doing your own thing. If you don't even want to go snorkeling, you can just chill at the hotel. So
Mm-hmm.
we'll see. But super excited to video. I want to get footage of the people coming with. Um, Stuff that they can't get because they don't know how to video or have a drone or stuff like that. So I think that'll be part of the experience is going with me to be able to get that kind of stuff. So um, that's what I'm mostly excited for, getting to know these people in such a short time span because you kind of have to.
Mm.
So
Yeah,
I'm pumped.
definitely. As far as content, like you said, a couple of things you want to do, but would you be doing more like vlog, long form content, a mixture between short form, TikTok, showing some places you're going? What kind of content are you thinking about making with these tours? Or I mean, with these trips?
I don't know, like I've always wanted to do like these travel videos, and I don't know if you follow like Sam Colder or Matt Como or any of those guys.
Yeah, I've seen some of their videos. Yeah.
I mean, those are way out of my league. Like the graphic design and editing that they do is like unbelievable. Something I couldn't do, but what I could do is still make a sweet video. As far as like, you know, um, where we are, different shots underwater, just stuff that's good quality, cool music, transitions and stuff like that. Pretty minimalist, but I think the videos I would post would be more like it'd be more short. I don't know. Maybe I'll do like a long vlog kind of thing of like our whole trip in Thailand, put it on YouTube. But as far as like Instagram, I would probably post like a 1 minute video of the whole trip, the highlights, and just kind of keep it brief and short, saying, how this is how much fun we've had. This is what we did. The next trip is going to be in Bali in July. If you have the chance to sign up, fill out the survey, whatever. But for my audience, it's like, do they want to watch a bunch of travel stuff? So it's gonna be testing the waters a little bit, as far as posting that kind of stuff. I can see my view counts go down, or my followers slow down a little bit. People might unfollow. They could, I'm just here for the dad jokes. I don't care about, Bali or Thailand. So for the first trip, it's definitely gonna be testing the waters and seeing what I can post and what people care about. So
Yeah. So, a good question that I have for you, I'm sure some content creators do too when they're building. When you were building your brand, almost like your name
yeah,
for things, how did you engage specific analytics? Because the apps do have specific analytical places where you can go, especially YouTube, I know, has an entire app dedicated to analytics. But how did you respectively engage with your analytics? Did you see because I know YouTube has a dislike button, and I know they took off, other people can't see it, but you can still see how many dislikes you get. And so
yeah.
that's a good way to view what people like and what people don't like. But so when you were building on TikTok, how did you engage those analytics, and how did you figure out what people really liked and what people didn't like?
Yeah, I'm pretty minimalist with the analytics. I know people will use a lot of different things. I work with an agency that kind of tells me um, more detailed analytics. For me, I look at views, likes, and shares. If I just posted something on TikTok about the travel thing, like, go to my Instagram, fill out the survey, and to travel with me, literally got 100 likes and 2 shares, 9,000 views. So that tells me right there that people like could care less about the travel thing. So I I looked at, my most viewed video, which is 2 dad jokes. That's got almost 11 million views. So when I see that, I'm just like, all right, stick with dad jokes. As far as comments, a lot of people will kind of give me feedback on that. People will say, I love the letter Kenny vibes. I don't know if you've ever seen that show, but
Yeah, I
yeah.
have.
So I try to stick with that vibe. And then, yeah, just like straight face, not really laughing. But some people do love the laughing. They feel like they're laughing with me. So I try to make it loose, and some of them will be of us dying laughing, or just like raw material of bloopers or something. People like relate to that stuff. So I'll post that once in a while. I think they're kind of oh yeah, they'll comment something like, I love the double standard, or the double meaning of the text at the bottom, like, because some of my dad jokes, you have to read it to understand it, so like saying diarrhea is hereditary, it runs in your genes. It's not actually like your genes. I have to type out genes, and then people are like, oh, like, I get it. And it's surprising how some people won't get some of the jokes without that, so just figuring out comments and views, and that's kind of like my analytic, how I you know look at it, I guess.
Yeah,
So
I definitely worry, about the new age kind of social media area, because
yeah,
like when we were younger, or like, I'm still pretty young, but when I was like in high school and stuff, there was social media was for normal people. I mean,
yeah,
Facebook's still kind of the same, like, but Instagram was, you posted pictures of you at prom and normal
yeah,
people. And it's kind of turning away from that. And it's really only being used for content creation now. And
yeah,
so I feel like the positive of that is that people who are kind of would shy away from creativity, but like are still like interested in doing something of content creation, they're going to get pushed into feeling like they need to create something. But also on
yeah,
the back end of that, it's going to it's going to make everyone feel like they need to be a content creator, when really, like, there's so much out there. Some people need to be part of the audience. Some people need to be a
yeah,
viewer rather than someone making the content. And so I
Yeah.
feel like when you remove the normalcy from social media, it creates this dangerous outlook where everyone feels like they need to be a celebrity right now, you know?
Yeah, 100%. And that's like some people, I'm sure you have friends that have wanted to post something. They're like, man, this looks so cringy. But they're really just pressurized to post something like that because they think maybe it'll get a bunch of views. You see a girl dancing and, somehow some videos get a bunch of views and shares and likes or whatever just from a girl dancing for like 5 seconds. But if like one of your friends do it, they're like, like I feel like I could do that, but it's just so cringy. And then they post it and they get like 2 likes, and then it's kind of emotionally damaging, to be honest, because they're thinking about what people think, and these people are doing it, so I can do it. I should do it. Like, so it's just social media is a dangerous thing, dude. It's especially a place like TikTok, it's pretty unhinged. People will post anything and everything. It's weird how some social media is. Instagram, it's more like conservative, right? So you just post pictures with you and your friends, or like your best content. TikTok, it's like you post the craziest things because it's like whatever. It's TikTok. Everyone's posting a bunch of videos. So I think it's interesting. Um, you know, yeah, like you said, like in high school, you just posted a picture here, and everyone's like, "Yeah, cool, you posted a picture." Now it's like everyone's always thinking, like, "Oh, dude, I can make that into a TikTok." Like you're subconsciously always thinking of how you can make that into a video, and that's even for me. Like I'll go view the sunset, and my first instinct is pull out my phone, show everybody. But it's like, this is a little off topic, but I mean, no one can just enjoy something instead of trying to share it. Everyone's living through social media now. And there's this meme that I saw of like everyone had their phone out because I think like a celebrity was walking by or something. It was like an old lady. She's just on the rails, just looking at him and just enjoying the moment. And I thought it was like perfect. I'm like, no one does that anymore. So
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. There's a meme that was going around of this girl who drove into a frozen lake, and as her car is sinking, she's standing on top of her car, and someone took a picture of her taking a selfie on top of her car.
Oh my gosh.
And
Yeah.
it was a meme. It was like, this is, if you needed to show aliens what 2022, like what
Yeah.
United States society looked like in 2022, this is what you would show them. Yeah, dude, I think about that a lot, and I think about how, for one, I think especially like as soon as you get a lot of views, as soon as you start making content that people watch, I think that's when you start to realize that the importance of not being viewed all the time. If you never like, because it's such a drug, like clout, I guess, is such a drug that
Yeah.
if you never get the surge of likes, normal people in general, like, even
Yeah.
in high school, if you posted a picture and you averaged 300 likes, and you got 150, you felt like an ass. You feel like you're nothing. But like,
Yeah.
if you never feel like a lot of likes, your video never goes viral, or let me flip that. When that does happen, I feel like you're like, all right, you take a step back and you're like, do I really want this? Do I really want a lot of people watching my content? And I think if you're
Yeah.
creating content, the answer is always yes, but it's like, it
Yeah.
does, like, I want to go to the lake without my phone.
Yeah.
I want to do things by myself with my girlfriend. And I tell my girlfriend all the time that I wouldn't have social media unless, except for the fact that I have to, because that's how I communicate with people to get on the podcast, and that's how I create my content. But
Yeah.
I would stay off of it, because it's just, by talking to a lot of people about like what the future of like the metaverse looks like, it's not a route that I really want to get like super attached to, because it's so
Yeah.
like, it's almost like it's a beast of its own. Like an example, like I thought about when you were talking, was like girls, I feel like a lot of the times they feel the need, like, if girls are getting a lot of likes and then they start getting less likes, I feel like they a lot of times like, all right, I'm just gonna post a video of that has my ass in it, or post a picture of
Yeah.
my ass in it, so I can get a lot of likes again. And I
Yeah.
think that's so dangerous, because it's like, guys will do it in the sense too. They'll do some the exact same thing, but it's like almost like
Yeah.
you need that clout. You need to feel like addressed, and you need the world to see you. And I think it's really fucking dangerous.
Yeah. No, 100%. And for me, I think it's a lot of it is just mindset. You know, if it's for clout, like it's very dangerous. For me, I've kind of transitioned my mindset to like, man, like people will message me saying, hey, like I've had a terrible day, a week or whatever, feeling depressed. And this video right here is like giving me a laugh for the first time in the last month or whatever it is. So my mindset has literally been, you know, the views and all that is awesome, but you get to a point where you know you're kind of just like used to it and you don't care about that stuff anymore. If you can bring value to people just getting a laugh and changing their day, it makes social media that much better, for me at least. You know, I always tell my roommates like, wow, this video got 100,000 views, you know, in 10 minutes, but really, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, cool, I changed someone's life today. And like,
Mm-hmm.
so, you know, the mindset of, you know, getting 100 likes and then having to do something crazy, it's like you said, that is very dangerous, and social media will never go away. In my opinion, I don't think it will. So I don't know if they need to start teaching things like that in education systems or what, but I see like 3-year-olds with an iPad at a dinner table, and it's like, man, I would never get that when I was a kid.
Mm-mm.
You
No,
know, so
yeah. And we live in like how old are you?
I'm 28.
Yeah, yeah. So you're in your 20s. So I'm turning 22, so I'm pretty young. But
Okay.
like
Yeah.
I'm like the cusp of like I grew up and I was outside. I didn't have a phone. I
Yeah.
didn't have an
Yeah.
iPhone. You know, I
Same.
like I mean I did play like when I was in Fortnite was like super big when I was a senior in high school.
Yeah.
So like I still played like 2K and Call of Duty and things with my friends, but
Yeah.
it was mostly like, oh, I'll beat your ass in 2K, like pull up to my house, you know. We still
Yeah.
would like go shoot hoops. We would still play football at the park, and I spent
Yeah.
most of my childhood outside, and that is gone, dude. That is gone
Yeah.
completely.
100%. My nephew, he was showing me, I was watching TV or something. He's on the iPad and he's showing me TikTok videos, and like TikTok videos that are like inappropriate for my age. And I'm just like, man, like, how are you on TikTok right now?
No,
And
for real, dude.
yeah,
And
it's
you know,
crazy.
I was talking about Twitter, dude. Like Twitter has actual porn on it, like actual porn,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
and it also has like super like raunchy political like conversations. And like I don't think anybody under the age of like 18 should be on Twitter, because it's like, dude, just like it's so like anything goes. And then but then you start talking about TikTok, and I forget who I was talking to, but they were like, TikTok, it doesn't have a way, like if you like, there's like every other day there's booty or there's other things, you know, like just on your TikTok. And like as men, you gravitate towards that. And so it's, I feel like when you, because 12-year-olds have it, and 12-year-old boys, like, you know, that's when you start getting that urge to want to like fuck chicks, you know. That's like when you're
Yeah.
like, I want to do that.
Oh yeah.
And so what's going to happen is it's going to keep, like they're going to see all these hot chicks and they're going to feel all excited, and then they're going to look up more and more crazy stuff, and it's going to keep that whole, you know, pornography epidemic like spiraling out of control. Because, and it's bad and it's dangerous. And I think because it's like, dude, like young boys, like if you give them an out for that energy instead of just like playing
Yeah.
sports or just like, you know, like getting rejected from chicks, I feel like it's going to create this world where like women need the validation and men have to give it out, you know. It's a
Yeah.
weird dynamic.
Yep. Yeah. No, it's dangerous, and I wish, you know, it comes from the parents too. You know, just hoping things change on their end. But it's, as a parent, I'm sure giving an iPad to a kid, you know, calms them down. They're not running around. So I get that part, but they got to do a little bit more to kind of get the kids back outside and veering away from that kind of stuff.
Yeah. You know, and to talk about being outside for a while, I know on your Instagram page you have a whole section, like a story section about that van. It was almost like a DIY van. You
Yeah.
could talk about that for a little bit. Do you take road trips in that? Did you create that yourself? What was going on with that van?
Yeah. My brother, he sent me a link to a van that was all converted out. And I'm like, man, that's so sick. The next week I went to go buy a van that was gutted. I it was like $30,000. I put 10,000 down. Still paying it off, but I got this van gutted out, and I really didn't know what to do with it. My dad was able to put hardwood floor on it, and the something very, you know, minimal. And then I actually bought a solar panel system I put on top. My dad was able to put together. But after that, I'm like, man, I don't know who else is gonna do my van, like build it out inside. My friend's dad is a professional woodworker. He's like, I'd love to start working on vans. So I gave it to him, kind of gave him my ideas of what I wanted to do, and he started working on it. And he basically got it all converted out. It's like 90% done, but I tried paying him, you know, 10 grand, which is kind of nothing to have someone build it out. Like it's not even, that'll get like half the van done maybe. But he's like, no, I don't want any money. It's my first van. I just want to do it for fun. I'm like, all right. So he converted it out. My plans for the van were kind of up in the air as far as like, did I want to live out of it? Just travel, use it for work. Once it got built out, I kind of just stuck with staying in an apartment in San Diego and using it to travel. I shoot a lot of weddings in Tahoe, so it's like an 8-hour drive. I'll just take the van, go up. Halfway through, if I'm tired, I'll sleep at hot springs on the way, or you know take trips with it on with friends. And it's pretty convenient because you can kind of park anywhere. Once it's done, maybe I'll live out of it for a couple months, save money, but um, it's just nice to go anywhere. And I mean, you could park literally in front of a Walmart and sleep there. I would love to take it to Hawaii. I think it's like a $2,000 transfer, but if you can sleep out of that for 2-3 months, live there, shoot some weddings, it'd be equivalent to paying for a hotel. Um, so kind of got that idea from my brother, converted it out. I gave it back to him so he can finish it. So I just have my Subaru, but um, yeah, man, I think once it's all done and I have the time, I'd love to show people where I travel with it, what I can do with it, kind of inspire people to do the same. I think a lot of the times when people create content like that, it's for people who can't do it, um, because maybe they don't have the time, or they have kids. But you post that kind of stuff on YouTube, they love watching it because they can't do it, so they kind of live vicariously through you. So having someone to come with me to make sure that they can drive the van while I fly the drone, stuff like that, it's a huge process. So I'm hoping I can find the time to do it, and um, have another source of um, income from that if it took off. Who knows? Even if it doesn't, the journey of documenting all that stuff and traveling is a blast.
Yeah, definitely. And I think there's 100% there's a call for that kind of content right now.
Yeah,
A buddy of mine who I'm actually having on the podcast in a couple weeks, he's just like an outdoorsman. He does like extreme
yeah,
kayaking, and they work for a bungee jumping company. But he was talking about, because next year he's taking, so during COVID they gave us all a free semester, like for
uh,
classes and stuff. I'm not taking it because I want to graduate, but he said I'm gonna take it. And he's like, yeah, next year I think I'm just gonna take the money I would pay for rent and just like buy a van and live out of that van and travel, and then I'll just like pay you guys utilities to come shower up at his house like down the street. And
yeah,
it's crazy because like that's not you two are not the only people who have like talked to me about doing something like that. And I think 100%. I don't know if it's like consciously or subconsciously. I think a part of that is like what we were talking about social media. It's that escape. It's an escape. If you can
yeah,
pack up your stuff, drive anywhere and sleep for a night and just experience nature the way our ancestors did and how every other animal gets to. I think it's
yeah,
so freeing. The only time we ever get to do that is when we're camping and we have no cell service. And even then, people check their phone to see something, or I need a work
yeah,
call. I need to find some Wi-Fi.
yeah,
And so I think there's definitely a need for that, like wanting to get out into nature and just experience life without our phones.
yeah. No, it's such an escape, dude. I'll even be here in San Diego, 2 bucks on the beach, and I'm like, I'm taking my van somewhere. Just the feeling of traveling on your own, listening to music or podcast, whatever, just being your own, being able to go kind of anywhere. It's amazing. I mean, without it, you have to, if you're going to travel somewhere, you got to think of paying for a hotel or where you're going to go. I mean, the van, you can literally just drive 2 hours up north by the water and kind of just bring some food and chill out. So it's definitely a different life that I'm sure a lot of people would love to experience.
Mhm. Yeah, and a bunch of my buddies. So Pacific is like kind of like half of our student population is Hawaiians. So a lot of them do
Yeah,
that like transfer car thing, and I do think it is somewhere just like right around 2000. And for
yeah,
you, respectively, I think that'd be dope because imagine the content you can make like in Hawaii, and you can
yeah,
travel. I don't know, it's probably cheaper to travel to take your van through the islands because it's so much closer.
yeah.
If you're gonna do something like that, would you eventually do it in other countries too?
Yeah, I mean, it all depends on if it kind of gets funded. You know what I mean? It's
Mhm.
tough if you don't get money for that kind of thing, because it's like, you make content and post it and hope you get some kind of revenue from it, because then you're gonna say, okay, cool, I'm gonna go to Patagonia with it and document what you can do in Patagonia with it. As long as you're bringing some kind of value to people that maybe want to do it, and people will help you um, fund it. I think that's kind of like you know what these platforms will do. I think that's why they're doing some incentives and why they're paying some content creators, so that they keep doing it, keep people on that platform to watch and figure out what they can do, because you're the one that's creating the content. Um, so we'll see. I mean, it's definitely something I want to try out and see if I can make money to help people in that category. So it's kind of on the back burner right now. I got so many things to weed out right now. I gotta edit weddings. There's so many things I have to do. I'm building my brand for Doc Talk. Someone's designing merchandise, and so there's like a lot of things like that I have to get done. But I'm hoping to create time to do that kind of stuff, and we'll see what I can do with it.
Yeah, and like about your time too. How long does it take to edit something like a wedding?
Yeah, it's funny. If I put my phone away and stick to it, it could take me 3 hours to edit a 3 to 5 minute video. A lot of videographers will say I'm crazy. They'll spend like a few days up to a week maybe on a video, but I'll knock it out within a couple hours, depending on if it's an elopement or a wedding or a 10-hour day or what they bought. If it's a ceremony video, all these different kinds of they'll pay for a 1 minute reel or whatever it is. So it kind of depends, but usually if I'm sticking to it within the day, right now it's taking me a long time. I'm still editing. I'm finishing a video right now from December 4th, and then I'm going to finish one hopefully today by from a wedding on New Year's Eve. Um, so I've knocked out a couple videos in a day. I've knocked out a wedding video or an elopement the same day. It finished like at 7 p.m. I got to them by 11 p.m. the whole video. Sometimes that's risky because they'll think like, hey, did you work hard on this or did you just knock it out? So it's kind of like a mind thing too, a mind game. But you know, whether I give it to them that same day or 3 weeks later, it's usually the same amount of time I work on every video. But the turnaround time used to be within 2 weeks, but after shooting 52 weddings, you kind of get towards the end of the season where your creative box kind of closes on you. You
Mm.
run out of music or ideas, so it becomes kind of a grind. But obviously, they paid a bunch of money, so I'm trying to get trying to get those through. So yeah, turnaround time is different. Like for this year, only doing 30 weddings. If I were to just stick with 30 weddings, I'm gonna try my best to stick around a 2 week turnaround. Because the more they get stacked up, it gets harder and harder because you're like, oh man, I got this wedding's from January, like it's July.
Do people ask you respectively for the type of video they want or the type of song they want, like their song? Do people ask you for specific things?
I'd say it's one out of every like 20 weddings they'll have a song in mind. They'll ask if I can work with that. If it's like a popular song like from Justin Bieber or something, I'll say, listen, like I can make this video for you, but like you can't really post it anywhere because one, if you post it on Instagram, I've even done this with the popular song, it will get taken down. They'll say copyright issue, whatever. But I'm like, if you just have it in like, your room or on a drive or something, like sure. But um if this is what you want, this is what you have to do. Like you can't just be posting it everywhere because that could get me in trouble. Music, I usually go through a library that I'm licensed through. And as far as the type of video, it's usually a 3 to 5 minute video. Is kind of the hot pick. I offer 3 to 5 or 6 to 7. 1 out of 100 people will ask for the longer version. I've had an instance where every one of my couples will come back, say, "Hey, great video, loved it, can't wait to share it." This one couple bought a 7 minute video, and I was like, halfway through, I'm like, "Oh shoot!" They asked for, because I was so used to making a shorter video. They asked for a 7 minute video, and I asked them if this song was okay, and it ended like at 6 minutes. I'm like, "Yeah, it's fine," because I said, the song's great, I love it, it's good for the vibes of your video or your wedding. I sent it to him, and no response till this day. It's been like 5 months. I haven't heard from her once. I've reached out to her a couple times, nothing. So I don't know what the deal with that was, but yeah, it's usually I just make the 3 to 5 minute video without question. On the package, it will say 3 to 5 minute or 6 to 7 minute video, and they just book it. And then I usually just make the 3 to 5 minute video because, in my opinion, all the best highlights are crammed into that time frame.
Mm-hmm.
If it gets to like 6 to 7 minutes, 6 to 7 minute video, it's like you're dragging it out, making clips slow motion to make it longer, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just kind of not the most ideal video in my opinion. More work for me, but I'm not complaining. It's just more work to make the video longer and not necessarily better. So.
Is 7 minutes the longest video you've ever shot?
Yeah, anything like someone's asked me for like a 20-minute video or something like that, and I'm like, I'm not doing that unless you want to pay me like double, which would be like 10 grand. Then it's just you look elsewhere because I just make shorter ones. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and definitely, and I feel like would you even really want a 20-minute video of your
That's
wedding?
what I'm saying. Yeah, like I'll make the 3 to 5 minute video, and I also send them a copy of everything that I've recorded.
Mm-hmm.
So they have the option to get into the drive and see all the clips. So if you want to like grab those clips and put it together, like you have every right to. But I'm not gonna just put all those clips into one video and try to make a video out of it with 20 different songs, So I just don't have the time for that. Also, yeah, who wants a 20-minute video? Who's going to watch it besides you? Even 3 to 5 minutes. I mean, I don't know. Even as a wedding videographer, I don't even really watch 3 to 5 minute videos from other weddings. I'm just not that interested unless I'm in the wedding. It's usually the people that were at the wedding will watch the video, and then obviously the couple. But anything over 5 minutes, it's like I'm over it already.
Yeah, and so like, are these people buying these wedding videos from you for themselves most of the time, or for other people to watch? Like, are they buying it to post on social media for other people?
Yeah, no, they buy it for mostly themselves, and some people care less about social media. They're like, I don't even have Instagram. I don't know. I don't want a 1 minute reel. But a lot of times they love posting on their social media, Facebook, and sharing it with their friends. It's just a preference for different people. But a lot of the times they want the video for social media.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like, I feel like for wedding, like for a wedding video, I feel like a lot of people like, I don't know, I just feel like if you're gonna post something, like just experience your wedding, and like maybe, yeah, I guess you could have a videographer to record it like for social media, but it's like if you're like getting a wedding video for like, get it for yourself before you get it for social media, because like really, like you said, who's really going to watch a 5 minute video of your wedding if they weren't there? Like maybe
Yeah.
your friends who couldn't make it, or like family
Yeah.
members and stuff like that. But I doubt like if you see someone's wedding video, unless you know them like pretty close, like you're not just going to sit there and watch this 5 minute video of someone's wedding.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Exactly. 100%. And that's why I offer these 30-second teasers, because those people will watch those videos. Or if it's something funny from the vows or speeches or something, I'll try to post those as much as I can. But 3 to 5 minute videos, it's mainly geared toward the couple, and like family and friends will watch it, but not a whole lot.
Mm-hmm. So yeah. So how long do you spend creating content for Doc Talk?
it's basically every morning. So I wake up. I so the funny thing about doc talk, it's like I gotta sit on a doc, record it, and then I'm done. I think a lot of people kind of have the mindset that I like go out there every morning and do it, you know. But there's a lot more production into it. It's getting a host, usually my brothers, to come out to the dock with me, knock out jokes, and then I come back to the studio and put them together. But it's usually every morning. I'll wake up at 7. Around 8 o'clock, I'll put together within 10 minutes. I'll find the clips of the jokes, slice it, and then bring it to my phone. And then, you know, I could edit all of it right there on the computer. But an interesting thing with these different platforms is they want you to use their tools. So if you don't use their tools, they have that algorithm that tells them, you know, you didn't use any of our tools, we are not going to push this video as hard. So if you use the text or music or graphics that they have on these reels or TikTok videos, then they're going to say, wow, this is what we want, so this is what we're going to push. So I'll get the video sliced together and I'll bring it into Instagram. Then I'll manually do it myself with text. It's a little bit time consuming, but that's kind of part of the grind of making sure it reaches as many people as you can. So it ends up being, you know, honestly, like an hour and a half of your day, because once I post it, I'm trying to engage with, you know, people commenting on it, because you have about an hour to tell Instagram that your video is one of the more popular videos on someone's feed. So if you post it and you only get 2 comments and you're not engaging, then it'll just get pushed down to the bottom and no one will see it. But if Instagram sees that you're using their tools, you're engaging with people, you're commenting back, you're liking, you're sharing, within that hour is kind of the most critical. So from editing to posting and commenting and engaging, it's about an hour and a half each day. So it's kind of time consuming on top of trying to edit these wedding videos, and then obviously just living your life.
No, definitely. And like I don't have a really structure to the content I create, but like last night I laid in bed, I couldn't sleep, so I did like 4 YouTube shorts just to like
Yeah.
push some content, because I was like, you know what, I'll do it. And I try to engage the comments as much as I can, because like the
Yeah.
comments, not like the dickhead comments, like you're a piece of
Yeah.
shit
Yeah.
guy, but like I
Yeah.
try to engage, because that is 100% the way you get people to like follow you, subscribe to you, is if you engage back with them, and then that's how you get
Yeah.
the algorithm going up. The crazy thing about YouTube Shorts is it doesn't really. I mean, it probably does have something to do with their tools on YouTube Shorts.
Yeah.
That will like push your views, but as long as you're posting engaging content on the shorts,
Yeah.
and if you're posting long form content, it will push your stuff.
Yeah. No, 100%.
Yeah, so YouTube, that's why I like YouTube Shorts, and I think you should get on it, because
Yeah.
especially if you want to start doing those long form content things, is because
Yeah.
YouTube is like Instagram is trying to be like compete with TikTok, and TikTok's so like TikTok, you know, like you have to
Yeah.
post what you, like you were saying, you have to do, like if you find one thing, stick with that one thing. But
Yeah.
YouTube, like you can post a little teaser of a long form video and it will blow up, and then your long form
Yeah.
video will blow up. So I
Yeah.
like an hour and a half. Yeah, I just throughout the day, because I still have one semester. So once school starts, it'll probably be a little less. I'll probably post. I
Mm.
usually post like 5 shorts a day. So I'll probably, and I usually do like 3 episodes a week.
Mm.
So I try to do, and so I'll probably bring that back to 1 to 2 episodes a week, and then 5 to 6 shorts, probably 10 shorts a week, you know, 2 a day, 3 a day, just because it's
Yeah.
so, people don't realize, like, I mean, you 100% realize, because you also create content, and you create content for, you know, for a lot of people. So it's, you totally understand, like it's trying to create the perfect video for people. It's a hard thing to do. And sometimes, like for me at least, like I can't, because it's podcast content, and I can't gauge what the algorithms will like versus what the people will like, because I feel like you need both of them to go off for it. Because
Yep.
if it's a video that people are gonna like, but the algorithm doesn't like it, you'll get, I don't know, 15 likes with 5,000 views, and it's like, but if
Yeah.
it's flip flopped, you could get 100,000 or 20,000 views and get no likes because no one likes
Yeah.
and everyone's just like disliking it, especially on YouTube. So it's like to find that balance. It takes time, and to use the in-app features, it takes a lot of time.
Yeah, no, it's crazy because TikTok I got 375,000 or like it was like 300,000 followers before my Instagram even got any followers. Like, and I was posting the same stuff on Instagram um, for a while. So I was at 15,000 followers for the last 4 years. It's just stuck around there, and TikTok started blowing up. So I'm like, all right, TikTok's kind of my platform, but I still posted it on Instagram. And then one video, all it took was 7 million views, and then I got 20,000 followers and 40, 100. I'm like, what's going on? Like finally some traction. So it's kind of just finding, you got to post it on everything. I mean, I even got to post them on Twitter, Facebook, and now YouTube Shorts, and it'll hit some people and some people it doesn't. And the algorithms are all just different times of the day. There's just so many different kinds of things, and I try not to think about it too much. I will try to post at around 9 a.m. every morning, so people know, like, all right, 9 a.m. the video might be up. But sometimes I'll post at night and it doesn't get as many views, or so I try not to stress out too much about it, and I just try to post. It'll hit some people different times. Some videos will be funny to some people, some won't. Some people will relate, whatever. So once you don't stress yourself out on that stuff, you just post. It makes life a lot easier.
Yeah, to go off of that, man, just like what is like the biggest lesson you've learned since starting like creating all this content?
It doesn't happen overnight. I've been doing dog talk for 3 years, and kind of figuring out what social media platform is trying to do during that time. Like right now, they're really pushing reels. They're doing bonus reels. I don't know if you've heard of that, but they're paying content creators up to $35,000 within a month, depending on how many views you get. But you don't get the invite right away. They're rolling it out to people in the United States slowly. Like my brother got it, but I haven't got it yet. So it's just figuring out what's popular on each social media platform. So obviously Instagram is pushing reels. They want people to do reels more. I don't really post pictures that much because Instagram doesn't care about pictures anymore, because they're trying to compete with TikTok. It's all a money thing. So the more reels you post, the better off you're at with that. And yeah, mostly just it doesn't happen overnight. So you can't get discouraged if a video doesn't do well or a picture. You just got to keep posting. And what I've learned too is like I've followed these accounts that have 10 million followers, and you kind of figure out why. They're posting like 7 times a day, which is ridiculous. It's easier with memes, like posting that kind of stuff. But for me and Doc Talk, I can't just post 7 Doc Talks in a day unless I knocked out 1,000 Doc Talks in a day. Then I could, but posting as much as you can is kind of key, because I used to always think like, man, like people are getting sick of me. Like I can't post that much, but I follow these accounts that have 10 million followers, and I'm not unfollowing them. I still look at their stuff, like their stuff, and share it. So I try to think of how I feel when I see something and use that for like my followers. If I'm like, oh man, I love this stuff, and I'm still sharing it. Like I bet you if I'm still creating this content, people are still liking it and still sharing it. It's not, don't mess with your head too much. Don't think you're doing too much or too little. Just posts and posts. That's what social media is for. People are on social media to look at stuff. So yeah, that's kind of what I've learned.
Yeah, dude, I 100% I resonated with what you said. Like I feel like people get sick of me.
Yeah.
It's crazy though. Like before I started getting like a good amount of views, especially on my YouTube,
Yeah.
I would post on my Instagram just like a bunch of like I started with my like reels like pretty early when they first got them, just because I was already doing like little motivational things that I would say on my TikTok. That's kind of how I
Yeah.
started. So I would start to show just kind of for me, and then I was like saying some motivational things, or my guests would. And so I started posting that stuff, and it was doing
Yeah.
it would do decent on TikTok. So I was like, all right, I'll post it on Instagram. And I would post, and like people who I were friends with in high school would like unfollow me. And then they would like hit me up, and I'm like, bro, why'd you like unfollow me? And they'd be like, oh, you post too much content. And then the same people, once I started getting more views, would hit me up, be
Yeah.
like, oh, look at you, like you're getting all these views. And it's like, bro, you're a loser, first off.
Yeah. No, 100%. There's been people who have hit me up who I've never even talked to, saying stuff, and I'm just like, man, I haven't heard from you for like 5 years.
Yeah.
Like my friend Cassie, she won The Bachelor. I don't know if you ever watched The Bachelor.
I know what The Bachelor is, but I know, like, I've never watched it.
I was like kind of like, I was like best friends with her in high school, and then kind of veered away from her during college. But she won The Bachelor, and you know, I didn't really hear from her that much. But I I I was that guy that like hit her up after, and that's probably why she doesn't really connect with me anymore. But um, yeah, I mean, it's tough, even for me. I'd hit her up because she won The Bachelor. She went from 3,000 followers to 1.5 million with a blue check mark. Like she's kind of like a big deal now. But um, yeah, people will kind of come back in your life once they see you're being successful. So you kind of figure out who your real friends are.
Yeah, definitely. And especially I feel like for something like that's so like you're doing all this stuff, I feel like people will want to like just suck that energy from you, because I feel like a lot of it isn't just the fact that they're greedy like pieces of shit, but it's also the fact
Yeah,
that they want some of that energy. They think they deserve it. Like we were talking about earlier, it's the clout. They want the clout. They want it
yeah,
so bad, and you're just like, dude, like you have like if you have talent, like do something. Like everyone has something creative they can do. Don't just like suck other people's like life.
yeah. Even my brother that's on Doc Talk with me, he's kind of like one of my permanent hosts. He didn't really follow me in my Doc Talk from the beginning. Like once I got him on the show, he was more invested. Um, but I mean, it's my brother. That's just the way he is. But he didn't really know much about Dog Talk. I've been doing it for 3 years, and he just every time I would post it, he kind of just be like, yeah, like just Logan, just trying to. But once I started getting a bunch of views and likes, he's into it way more than I am. He calls me every day, like, dude, this one's doing well. Like he's just all about it now. So you know, they'll try to suck that energy from you because it's that clout.
Yeah. Do you know anything about the metaverse?
A little bit. I have like an NFT that I bought, but I'm not really into it that much yet, at least.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I should because there might be a lot of money there. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, you went to a D3 school. I'm broke. I'm broke as shit. But
yeah,
here's my thing. I make a little bit of money. So here's my thing.
yeah,
I want to put all my money into one of them, because here's the thing. You can't put your money in, oh, you can. If you want to like make like a steady amount, you can put your money into the Facebook's metaverse, because that will do
yeah,
decent because it's Facebook. But what you want to do, I think, is put all your money into a metaverse that you've done research on that you think is going to blow up, because there's going to be bunches of metaverses that everyone's going to use.
yeah,
And if you guess right, dude, you'll be a billionaire. Because that's my thing.
yeah,
It's like these are like people, like they make comparisons about people joking about the internet in the 90s. People are joking about the metaverse now. It's like, dude, think about, like, did you play Fortnite?
oh yeah. I played it 2 nights ago.
Me too, dude. But here's the thing. They put Tilted back. I was back on it. But here's the
Oh
thing.
yeah, that's why. Yeah,
I was talking to another TikTok content creator a couple days ago. He makes like doesn't matter. He makes like this announcing content, like with the NFL, NBA like things,
okay,
with the filter. But we were talking about Fortnite, and I was like, think about this with the metaverse. It's like everybody already in Ultimate Team on like Madden and um, FIFA and all those games and 2K. People already spend all this money on skins
yeah,
and MUT teams and everything like that. And now all the difference is they're going to put glasses on instead of holding a controller, or they're going to be, instead of holding a phone, they're going to put glasses on. That's the only difference. People already live online. You don't realize that.
yeah,
When you've been doing all these things, you've been feeding the algorithm into a digital version of yourself. So all the metaverse is you becoming like you seeing into that world. That's literally the only
Yeah.
difference. And so I think like 100% you for sure, like look into the metaverses and stuff like that,
Yeah.
because it's 100% the future.
Yeah.
Like there's some cool ass things you can do with it. And I think what people don't realize is like, oh, they think we're going to put a chip in our brain and we're going to be like merged. And that probably will
Yeah.
happen and within our
Yeah.
lifetime. But I think for the first few years, it's literally going to be like most people are going to have the Oculus Rifts or like
Yep.
glasses that basically just show like text message. Like it'll be like text message right here. And then you'll be like, oh, reply like this. It's going to be like, or like you'll be able to sit instead of us doing this, you'll be able to sit in front of someone with their little character.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's freaky, but it's going to
Yeah.
make a lot of money. That's the only difference.
Yeah, no, like my brother, he anytime we talk about the metaverse in our family thread, he will shame anyone that talks about it or like make fun of it. But it's like, yeah, it's crazy, honestly. But there's a lot of money right there. So I don't know who the dumb one is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like you said, people made fun of the internet in the '90s or whatever, but it's the future. So we'll see.
Yeah. I
But
think that the future 100%, like, because I feel like for a lot of people, they're going to be like, all right, as soon as like the metaverse has become like a big deal, there's going to be half the population, especially like my dad's generation, they're gonna be like, yeah, I'm not never touching that shit. I'm just gonna live reality. And then there's
yeah,
gonna be like the kids and everything. They're gonna be like, anybody who's like 16 and younger right now is gonna immediately join, you know? And
yeah,
so I think for like, at least for our lives, there's still going to be that split between people wanting to like exist only in reality versus like all online and kind of a mix between that. But I think by like the time when we have kids, but by the time our kids are grandparents, everybody will have some form of like interconnected reality with AI. You know what I mean? I think we're
yeah,
almost there. It's just like our lifetime. It doesn't seem like maybe by the time we're like in our 80s, if we live that long,
yeah,
we might like there might be like a very very indistinguishable, but like I think by the time we're dead for sure, people are gonna be like, there's gonna be no difference. Like everything's gonna
yeah,
kind of live together. Robots gonna drive Tesla cars. Elon Musk is somehow still gonna be alive.
yeah. Exactly.
Well, man, this was a
Uh,
lot of fun, dude. Thanks
yeah.
for coming on again. Do you have any final thoughts you want to give to my listeners and me?
No, I just hope some of this information will be useful if you're trying to create content and take some of the tips. So
No, it definitely will, man. And you're a fascinating dude. I can't wait to
thank you.
see like all the dope shit you're gonna continue to do, and I can't wait to see what you do with those those trip stuff, because
Yeah, man.
I think you can do a lot of dope shit with that, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be a sweet little avenue I'm gonna take. So I'm excited to see what the future holds.
Yeah, man. Well, again, it was good to meet you. Thanks for doing this, and I'll let you know
Yeah,
whenever I'm out.
sweet. All right, Colin. Nice meeting you.